Welcome to the Double J podcast with Jack and Giovanni, presented by Lake Central Media. Jack Thiel here with my mustache enthusiast, Giovanni Alcantar. Giovanni, how's it going, man?
I'm doing all right. It was a good weekend.
You know, not really much sports, I should say. Not the biggest weekend we've had. But we'll start with, what was your biggest takeaway from this weekend?
I'm gonna go to the NFL. The Eagles are clearly not the same team as last year. Their division this year, it's a lot tougher.
I think it's up for grabs, too.
Yeah, I mean the Cowboys seem to find their stride now. As soon as we say this, they seem to just
As soon as we say they're done.
Exactly. I mean, they had that huge one against the Jacksonville Jaguars a few weeks ago, and then we saw the next week they just completely imploded on Monday night against the Titans, and then this week they shock everyone and they beat the Eagles on the road.
Went to Philly and won that game, and the Eagles acquire Golden Tate, who was supposed to boost up this team, and it kind of went down like you were talking about. I mean, yeah, when you look at this team, it's just not the same motive as last year, I should say. I mean, I don't really know what the problem is. Maybe it's because they don't think they're the underdogs anymore. They don't have anything to play for right now. But still, I mean, they're still second in their division. It's not over yet. But still, you wonder what's going on. I mean, yeah, everyone said they were going to beat the Cowboys home, Sunday Night Football. You should win that game.
And coming off a bye, too.
Yeah, you're right. Coming off a bye, you know, sometimes that affects the team or it doesn't, but still. Golden Tate, he had the week off, right? He had the week off. He's 100%. Nelson Aguilar, you have three receivers who could start for a team in my mind. Nelson Aguilar could start for a team. And it doesn't really go good for them. I mean, Zach Ertz had like one of the best games of his career that night, too.
I believe he had 40 points in PPR.
Oh, man.
Which is absurd. But for the Eagles, it really doesn't get much easier. I mean, next week they're going up against the Saints. To me, that's
a loss. I'm already saying it.
They're the best team in the NFL.
Oh, yeah, Saints, we'll talk about that later. My takeaway, Matt Naggy deserves Coach of the Year. Watching the Bears go to 6-3 and having a huge game Sunday night. I mean, what Matt Nagy has done to the Chicago Bears this year has been so – I would never believe this Bears would be 6-3 last year and first in their division. I mean, he has really done something with this team. Now, he does have some flaws with his game. He really hasn't perfected the full game. He kind of likes to focus on one half and kind of leave that second half out. But he has done so much with this team. He has connected this team together. He has brought this team to a unit, and a unit that is just monstered the whole NFL, if I should say, Giovanni. I mean, yes, they've kind of had some easy games, but still, they win the games they're supposed to win, and that's the most important thing for a first-year coach and a young team. And the Bears are going to have a stretch right now that's going to prove, are they the real deal, or are they maybe a team that's just not ready to get the whole spotlight yet because they're just too young. And we saw that in the first week. They're a little too young, you know, going to Green Bay. They had their egos all up, you know, 20-0 against Aaron Rodgers, and they got smacked. So the most important thing is Nagy has done. He has changed the culture of Bears football from so much from last year when John Fox was a coach to this year. And I credit Ryan Pace also with that too. He has done a great job as a general manager. He has brought in the players for Matt Nagy, who is a huge offensive coach. And he's definitely done it. And you saw this past week, Allen Robinson back literally lit up the Lions secondaries. Anthony Miller lit up the Lions secondaries. And those were only really two guys that did something for the receiving core. I mean, Trey Burton had some catches. Taylor Gabriel didn't have one catch that whole game. So, I mean, right now, Matt Nagy is my coach of the year. I am a Bears fan, but I still got to go with him. I mean, he's done so good for the Bears, and it's so great to see a young coach change his team like he has. So, we'll stick with the NFL, and this Sunday is a huge game for you Bears and Vikings fans. The NFC North will be up for grabs. The winner will take first place of that division. Giovanni, who wins the game, and after that, who do you think will win a division?
I think this Sunday I'm going to give it to the Vikings just because, listen, they're coming off a bye week. And I think the great teams coming off bye weeks, they always play well. And their third down defense, I know this is a weird stat to bring up, but their third down defense is just great. They get teams off the field. That's very important. And if I'm being honest, listen, Mitchell Trubisky the past 3 weeks has just been incredible. Or for the past month, I should say. I think against this Vikings defense, I think he's gonna struggle a little. I know this is making Jack very angry as he sits next to me, but
I'm sorry. Well, who do you think will win the division? We'll go, and then we'll go with my take. Who do you think will win the division?
I'm gonna have to take the Vikings still to win the division. I don't think the Bears. Listen, they've proven, as you said, they're beating the teams they're supposed to beat. But listen, they have to play the Packers one more time. Now this one's at Soldier Field, but I don't think, especially at that point in the season, I think the Packers will be playing with a lot more urgency. The Packers have struggled a lot, but we've seen it. Aaron Rodgers, to be honest, he just owns the Bears. No matter what, no matter what the records are, no matter what the circumstances are, Aaron Rodgers just owns the Chicago Bears.
Well, I'm going to completely disagree with you on that one, Giovanni. I'm taking the Bears this Sunday. I understand. Vikings have a great defense. They have one of the best receivers in the game. They have Kirk Cousins, who is a veteran who has played in playoff games before. But you're going to Soldier Field, and no environment's like Soldier Field. It's a cold night. Soldier Field, probably some snow going to be falling down. Sunday Night Football, prime time. Soldier Field is one of the most different environments for a visiting team in my mind. When you go to Soldier Field, you better be ready because the Bears have the best fans in the NFL. They are crazy, and they will stop this Vikings team. The Bears will too. The Bears, in my mind, have the best defense in the NFL right now. I have to say it. Khalil Mack, 100%. Bryce Callahan is this wild card right now. He is going off for the Bears right now. Had a pick and a sack Sunday against the Lions. He has shown up. Kyle Fuller, I have had some different takes about him, but he is second in interceptions in the NFL. So, I mean, he's showing up. Prince of Markamara, he's okay, I guess. I mean, he's a veteran. He makes some good choices, some bad choices. Like I said, you've got Mack, Hicks, Floyd, Eddie Jackson, Adrian Amos, Roquan Smith, Danny Trevathan. There's no way in heck the Vikings are stopping all these Bears on the defense. There's no way they're stopping them. Then you got Mitch Trubisky running off the best game of his career at home against the Lions. And yes, the Lions, they're not the best team, Giovanni. We understand that. They're not the best. But when you've got a young quarterback riding hot, it's really hard to stop him. And Matt Nagy has been wanting this matchup. When was the last time the Bears got flexed to a Sunday night primetime game? Giovanni, can you even name the last time they got flexed to a Sunday night primetime game?
To be honest, it's rare that – no, I've never seen it, to be honest.
Exactly. And my point is here, they're ready. They want Viking blood. They are ready for this team. So many critics are calling out the Bears saying they're not really that good. They just had an easy schedule. So many critics are calling out the Bears, and I hope they just prove them wrong because I have to take the Bears. And I don't think it's going to be a blow. Actually, I'm going to take a hot take right here. I'm going to go Bears 28, Vikings 10. This Bears defense is going to feed off the environment. And I'm telling you, I went to the Monday night game, week 2 against the Seattle Seahawks. My gosh, Giovanni, they feed off that crowd, and it's insane. I mean, the Bears are actually good for once, and the fans actually have to cheer for something for once, and it's insane to see it. You hear it on TV all the time. I mean, when the Bears were 3-3, I was like, oh, no one's gonna go to the games. Now you're 6-3. You're fighting for first in division. You have the Vikings, and then you have the Lions on Thanksgiving Day. It's tough. I mean, going to the Lions have played on Thanksgiving like every year since. Do you even know when, Giovanni? It's been a long time.
Been a bit. They always have that 11:30 game at Central Time.
Going to Detroit's not easy. I mean, teams have fallen in Detroit. The Packers, I read the stat. The Lions, all 3 Bears losses are all Lions 3 wins. The Lions beat the Patriots, the Packers, and the Dolphins. So, I mean, we saw like this past Sunday, the Bears, they took control of them, I say. And division, I have to go with the Bears. It's their time. I mean, it's their time to shine in my mind. The Vikings have a harder schedule remaining in my mind. I'm pretty sure the Vikings still have to travel to nope, they already traveled to Lambeau. Still a game with the Packers, who is interesting. I'm pretty sure they travel to the Seattle Seahawks, which is a hard place to play. I just got to take the Bears on this one, Giovanni. I mean, they're riding hot. Mitch Trubisky is riding hot. This team is like a family. And kind of going to that family thing, on Sunday, Cody Parkey missed 4 kicks all up in the upright. But the thing that caught my eye the most was all his teammates came to him. No one just left him alone. All his teammates came to him and supported him, and that's what builds this team, family. And that's huge because this team has the best chemistry, in my mind, in the NFL right now. And these guys are just first-year players with a bunch of these guys because all these guys are new, rookies, and they're young. and they've done a great job replacing Kyle Long at the offensive line in my mind, which was a huge loss for the Bears. So I'm going to take the Bears on the division and the game this Sunday. So we are is it week 11 now in the NFL? We in week 11?
Yes.
I think we can kind of tell maybe who looks the best team in the NFL. Who do you think is the best team?
To me, it's far and away the New Orleans Saints. I mean, this team, their offense is just absolutely ridiculous. They have Michael Thomas, one of the best receivers in the NFL this year. Alvin Kamara. He's played.
I feel like he's Le'Veon Bell Jr. maybe.
He's played in 24 games in his career. He has scored 26 touchdowns.
And
I want you to think about that.
And he did not start in those first games. Remember that. Mark Ingram was the starter, so he was kind of the backup, and he still scored a lot.
I mean, that is just so ridiculous. Forget fantasy numbers. That 26 touchdowns. He's played 24 games. That's
some next level stuff, Giovanni, right there.
Alvin Kamara is just absurd. And then this defense is finally stepping up for Drew Brees. Drew Brees, I mean, listen.
MVP season right now, in my mind.
I mean, listen, I've always said he's underrated, but this defense is finally stepping up for him. They traded for Eli Apple, and the secondary looks better. I think the Saints right now, listen, and they beat the Rams too. Everyone was saying they were the best team in the league, and
yeah, you can't place them over them if the Rams lost to the Saints. How can you place the Rams over the Saints? That's my question. But Giovanni, I gotta agree with you. The Saints are the best team in the NFL right now. Drew Brees is kind of playing his best football we've seen in a while. I mean, he's just finding his guys. Mark Ingram has actually been a huge addition after that suspension. He's actually shown some sides of good football. They just signed Brandon Marshall, actually. After that Des Bryant injury, Brandon Marshall. I'm a big fan of Brandon Marshall. Old Bear player. I love Brandon Marshall. When I was at the game, when he played for the Seahawks, he got the ball, everyone's booing him. I was like, yeah. But, the Saints, they are the best team. And the defense is stepping up, like you said. I feel like the defense had like a little letdown after that Vikings game in the playoffs last year after what happened. I feel like maybe they were a little, hungover over that because that was a hard way to lose, Giovanni. And I really feel like the defense is now stepping up, and they're playing great football. I mean, they just demolished the Bengals. That's ugly, Giovanni. They demolished the Bengals. I mean, the Bengals are potentially a wild card team. I mean, they play great in the regular season, but you're right. Saints are the best team in the NFL. And yes, there's the Chiefs, but I'd take the Saints over them any day.
And to me, the thing that hurts the Chiefs in my eyes is their defense. I mean, we saw it against the Patriots. The Patriots just ran up and down the field on them.
We'll see Sunday night. They play. Monday night, my bad. Chiefs and Rams play. So, I'll take the Chiefs on that one.
That's going to be played at Estadio Azteca in Mexico, at least right now.
Yeah, it's neutral. It's neutral site. So, I mean, it's kind of up for grabs. But I feel like the Chiefs are going to win. I feel like Patrick Mahomes, I just feel like that offense is too explosive. Tyreek Hill, man, that guy is just insane. And then you got Travis Kelce, in my mind, the best tight end in the game right now. He is right now in my mind. Kareem Hunt's a great running back. I feel like no one really values him that high. He's a top 5 running back in my mind.
Absolutely.
And then, if you guys checked out in the NFL, the Browns, who recently fired their head coach, Hugh Jackson, the offense has stepped up, Giovanni, and the Browns beat the Falcons. I mean, did you think we were ever going to say the Browns will beat the Falcons? You ever think Baker Mayfield would outplay Matt Ryan? Have you ever thought that?
Absolutely not. And to me, this is it for the Falcons. I mean, I don't see how they bounce back from this.
I don't think they do.
I mean, listen, they play in a division with the Panthers and the Saints. That to me is enough to say
and
that
the Panthers are 6-3.
Exactly.
That's tough. And when you lose to the Browns, it's kind of going to hang over your head and be like a little letdown for you guys. But, yeah, the Falcons look great. 3 straight wins, I'm pretty sure. You go to Cleveland. Hey, we might win. No, you did not win at all. They've had tough luck with injuries, especially with that first game against the Eagles. They had, like, so many injuries. Season-ending injuries, I should say.
Deion Jones.
Someone else I'm forgetting, too. But, yeah, Jones.
Even Matt Bryant, their kicker, has had trouble staying healthy this year.
Yeah, and I really feel for Matt Ryan because he's having an MVP season number. Honestly, he's my fantasy quarterback also, but still. I mean, he has a great offense, but the defense has just not been there at all. I mean, Nick Chubb ran for, a 97-yard touchdown. It was something like that. I mean, for the Falcons, I really think it's over for them this year. I mean, with how good the Panthers have been at 6-3, and the Saints are going to slow down. They're just going to go up. It's hard in my mind. And they play the Cowboys, who are looking to get some wins. Then you got to go to New Orleans, which is hard. Then you got the Baltimore Ravens, who are fighting for a wild card. Then you go to Green Bay, who are still trying to get that NFC North. They play the Cardinals. That should be a win. At Carolina, that's not going to be a win. At Tampa Bay, they should win that. I mean, Tampa Bay's kind of not that good.
I mean, I really can't see this team finishing anything above 500.
I'll go 8-8. I'll go 8-8 for the Falcons. I mean, it's just a tough year for them. I mean, it's been tough ever since that Super Bowl, Giovanni, for them. It's tough sailing, Giovanni, for them, especially Matt Ryan. So we're going to actually go back to the NFL, and the Patriots got demolished by the Titans. And the Titans coach is an old player of Bill Belichick, actually, if you didn't know that. Giovanni, do you think the Patriots should you think Patriots fans are just fans in the NFL? Are they concerned about the Patriots, or is this just like a loss and they'll be fine?
Listen, should they be concerned they got destroyed by
the
Titans? I mean, yes. I mean, that's not a great loss, but at the same time, they have a bye week to get Rob Gronkowski and Julian Edelman healthy. I think it's going to help a lot. And really, who in their division in the AFC East is going to compete with them? The Jets or
Dolphins.
The Jets are absolutely terrible.
Brocktober.
The Buffalo Bills, they finally cut Nathan Peterman last night.
Well, that was good. Yeah, that was good to see that. You know, sometimes if you love it so much, you just got to let it go. You know, I mean, Patriots, I'm going to say yes. You should be concerned. You went to Tennessee and lost. I don't know what else to say, Giovanni. Well, was it 34-10? I think it was 34-10. I'm not sure right now. I would be concerned. I've been saying this since they lost to the Detroit Lions. The Belichick and Brady era is over. It's over. I don't think it's going on anymore. I think they are not, together anymore. I feel like they're just too close-sided, and I really feel like the Patriots should be concerned. I mean, a loss to the Titans. They have two losses right now, right? The Lions and Titans, both on the road. They're not a good road team, and that's why you should be concerned, because they're not going to get the 1 seed in the AFC. I think they're the 3 seed or 2 seed now, because you have the Steelers, I think, only have 2 losses right now too. So for the Patriots, you got to be a little concerned, because they might have a tough schedule up for them. I mean, you've got the Vikings, I saw. The Jets, they should win. At Dolphins want revenge after they got blown out.
And I just want to say, at Jets and at Dolphins, listen, as bad as the Jets are, it really never seems to matter when the Patriots play the Jets.
I still think at Miami is going to be hard. At Miami might be hard because they want revenge. At Pittsburgh, you ain't going to get out of Pittsburgh. I mean, that team is just rolling and rolling and rolling. Then they play the Bills and the Jets, and they'll win that game. I mean, the Bills and the Jets. I mean, yeah, the Bills and the Jets are not the best, Giovanni. And, we're going to end with NFL, but I actually want to talk about one more thing. So today, I think it's by 2 or 3 o'clock is the last day Le'Veon Bell can report to Steelers. Now, everyone says no. Giovanni, do you think he will, or is it just going to be a no?
Le'Veon Bell, I don't know what to think anymore. I mean, if
they don't need him.
I mean, clearly they don't need him.
They don't need him. James Conner has done more than him in my mind. And for Le'Veon Bell, where do you think he's going to go next year?
I mean, listen, I think the Jets is a good,
that's a good choice. Yeah, I like that.
Is a possibility. Pair him with Sam Darnold. But to me, let's go back to Le'Veon Bell for a sec. He's lost, I think I read $14.7 million.
I mean, I think you go back to what happened to Earl Thomas. It's the same thing going on, and look what happened. He had that season-ending injury against Arizona. And look how mad he was. He flicked off the camera. I mean, I think maybe when that happened, he thought about it even more. But, I mean, he's just trying to, he just wants what he wants. And obviously, he'll get signed by a team. Obviously, Giovanni.
Oh, yes.
And I'm gonna do you a little favor right here. I actually think the Colts will get him. I think the Colts will get him. I think the Colts need a running back. I like Marlon Mack. He's not bad. I had him in fantasy for 1 week. But I feel like the Colts could be the favorite to get Le'Veon Bell. He said he had interest in playing there. Him and Andrew Luck would not be.
I would love to see that.
That'd be not a bad combination for Andrew Luck. Andrew Luck's never really had a running back, and Colts. I mean, Frank Gore.
But to me, the last 2 years, the Colts in the draft, they've spent their top 4 picks in the draft on running backs. I can see Chris Ballard just saying, listen, they see a lot of Marlon Mack.
They need a receiver to Colts in my mind.
They absolutely do.
T.Y. Hilton can't just do it by himself. And I like the guy.
But their tight ends have stepped up so much this year. Eric Ebron scored 3 touchdowns.
Just to think Eric Ebron was cut by the Lions, and now look at him. Didn't he have a rushing touchdown too?
Yes, I've never seen this before. A tight end sweep.
I've never heard of that actually, Giovanni. That's actually Yep, Eric Ebron.
I was just reading
It's
on
funny.
my phone.
It's funny what can happen. You get cut by one team, and now you're the star tight end for another team. How about that, Giovanni?
I mean, that is just unbelievable. I still cannot believe Eric Ebron
Well,
ran for a touchdown.
let's go to the NBA, and the biggest news we could probably talk about is Jimmy Butler is now a 76er. He got traded by the Minnesota Timberwolves, and it was meant to be because there was just a bunch of drama going on. The trade was Jimmy Butler, Justin Patton for Dario Saric, Robert Covington, and a second-round pick. Second-round pick? Giovanni, who won this trade, Sixers or T-Wolves?
To me, whoever gets the star player wins the trade, and that was the 76ers. And I think the 76ers are getting a bit overlooked this year. I think the 76ers, I don't think they're going to win the East.
No. I go with the Raptors. I've said it since that trade. Raptors are winning the East. I mean, Kawhi Leonard is an all-star. Kyle Lowry, all-star. Jonas Valanciunas has been an all-star. Serge Ibaka is stepping it up. No one is stopping the Raptors. They're 12-1. 12-1. They're not going to be stopped. They beat good teams too. No one is stopping this Raptors team except when they go in the playoffs and lose probably.
Exactly. That's what I always say about the Raptors.
But we're talking about regular season though. Who's going to win the East in the regular season? That's what I mean.
But what does that matter?
Honestly, the East is up for grabs.
Absolutely.
It's not really it's a barn burner, I should say. Not like, the West is nothing. We go to the East. Who do you think will win the East in the regular season this year, Giovanni?
To me, it's going to be the Raptors. The Raptors, listen, I'll give it to the Raptors. They're a great regular season team. But my knock on the Raptors has always been, what has happened when they got into the postseason? I mean, LeBron James, thankfully for them, he's not in the East anymore.
Unless
so
they play him in the finals.
I mean, LeBron James can't beat him this year at least.
He owns the Raptors.
Unless,
he owns the Toronto Raptors.
I think I read he has some stake in the organization.
LeBronto.
LeBronto.
Okay, so we're going to do a little segment called Fact or Fiction, Giovanni. Duke finishes undefeated in the regular season.
Fiction.
I go fact. Fact.
No.
You're not stopping these freshmen. Zion, RJ, Cam Reddish. No one talks about Cam Reddish, and he is one of the top players. He is the number 3 recruit, and he went 7-11 from 3 on Sunday. Yeah, Sunday. You're not stopping Duke in the regular season. They will be stopped in the postseason, though, because they're so inexperienced. But Zion is just putting up insane numbers. 21 rebounds. No, not 21. 21 points, 6 rebounds, 6 blocks. I know it was against Army, but still. He did against Kentucky, too, the number 2 team in the country. All 3 of them. Don't forget about Trey Jones. That's Tyus Jones' brother, who is also a good freshman. They also got Marquise Bolden, a veteran senior at center. You're not stopping this team in the regular season. Baker Mayfield is the best rookie quarterback this year.
Yes,
I
but
think
is
you
that
know,
really saying a lot?
I think you know what I'm going to say. Fact. I love Baker Mayfield. I've loved him. I've told you that he would be the first pick ever since basically college football ended. I told you. Baker Mayfield will be the first pick, and I knew it because I am a huge Baker Mayfield fan, and I see the great potential in him. Celtics will be a top 4 team in the East. Top
Fact.
4. Fiction. I'm going to go with my top 4 teams. Raptors, Bucks, Sixers. Giovanni, I don't want you to get mad at me for a sec. I'm trying to hold you down right now. I think the Pacers are going to do something this year. I really like the Pacers squad. They beat the Celtics already. I really like this Pacers team. Bogdanovic, Oladipo, Miles Turner, Sabonis, Darren Collison. They also got a great rookie in Aaron Holiday. He's a great player. So, I mean, Giovanni, I like to take the Pacers. It's great to see them succeed.
Okay, where are the Celtics going to finish in the East then?
I think 5th. I think they're falling apart right now. They are falling apart. Don't get me wrong, Giovanni, but I got to take the Pacers. I like to take those bold picks, and I think the Pacers will step it up. They're mad after what happened to them last year against the Cavs. They want revenge. Well, let's go to college football. Nothing really much happened, Giovanni. All the teams that, were supposed to win won. And, I actually want to say this. The Big Ten Championship will be Northwestern or Ohio State and Michigan. Northwestern is in the Big Ten Championship, Giovanni. What do you got to say about that? Northwestern.
If Northwestern wins the Big Ten championship, I'm going to celebrate as if they won the.
Notre Dame beat them. That's all that matters. And Giovanni, who is your top 4 teams this weekend?
Number 1, how can you put anyone else besides Alabama? Besides Alabama, what does this team not do well?
I don't know. It's block for 2, obviously, because he's hurt right now.
That's true. And then number 2, I think it's the only team that can really compete with Alabama at this point. It's the only team that if they were to play in the playoff that wouldn't be favored by or wouldn't be 20-point underdogs, in my opinion. It's Clemson. They're the only team that can really compete with Alabama. Then number 3, I tried to come up with the reason not to put him here, but I'm going to put him here anyway. Number 3, Notre Dame. And then at number 4, the team in complete control of the Big Ten, in my opinion, it's Michigan.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I do disagree with your Clemson is the only team that compete with Alabama, though. A lot of people are not looking at Notre Dame. Notre Dame is one impressive team. They've got a top running back in college football in the name of Dexter Williams, who put up 202 yards and 2 touchdowns against the top 20 defensive run team in the country. Ian Book was out, and they still put up 40-something points. Ian Book, in my mind, is the most accurate He is the most accurate quarterback in college football. I'm not saying he's the best quarterback. I'm saying he's the most accurate quarterback. And Notre Dame is going to ride. And they have a tough game this week in Syracuse. It's neutral site, but it's not really neutral. It's really a home game for Syracuse. That's in New York for the Shamrock Series. And Giovanni, everyone's saying this Notre Dame is the most likely team to get upset this week. Do you think that's true?
I mean, absolutely. I mean, in terms of the top 4, I mean, Alabama is not going to get upset.
No, they play Sattel or whoever they are. I mean, come on.
And then Clemson is going up against Duke.
Duke is 7-3. I know they're not going to do anything, but you know, Clemson has an easy schedule. You know who they play in the ACC championship? Pitt. Pitt is in the ACC championship. What is going on with college football?
Are you really doubting?
I'm doubting Pitt. Actually, they have played good teams close. They have.
And then Michigan,
they play Indiana.
Yeah,
Bloomington, I'm sorry, you're done. Michigan has one of the best defenses in college football. You're not doing anything. But you know who's losing this week, Giovanni? UCF. I am tired of hearing them. I
don't understand people like you who hate on UCF. I mean,
I am tired.
There's something to be said. They haven't lost a game in 2 years.
I'm tired of hearing they're good. I hope they lose to Cincinnati this week and show people that they're not the true UCF. They are not good. They don't play anyone, and I'm tired of people saying UCF should be in the top 4. They shouldn't even be close. They should be not even in the top. They should be. I'd put them at 20 right now.
How?
Because they haven't played anyone.
But, Jack, there's something to be said. They have not lost a game in 2 years. It doesn't matter. And, listen, you can say to me that if Alabama or Michigan or Notre Dame played their schedule, they'd be undefeated too.
Alabama doesn't play anyone. I completely agree. Alabama doesn't play anyone. Clemson doesn't play anyone. LSU, that's it. And
Mississippi State.
Mississippi State is not that good. They have 4 losses right now. 4. Clemson does not play anyone, Giovanni, and I'm serious. Clemson has the easiest schedule I've seen, and it really annoys me. And you know that, too, it annoys me. Because everyone thinks they're the top team, but they're not. They're not that good, Clemson. I watched them against Boston College. They should be number 3, Clemson. Notre Dame should be number 2, but obviously the committee goes with Clemson at number 2 because they are the most impressive team because they've won by 50 and stuff. But that doesn't mean anything to me. If you can beat good teams on the road, then I like your chances, but they don't really play anyone. I mean, I'm not saying Syracuse is bad, but Syracuse hasn't really played anyone either. They're only lost by 4 this Clemson. It's close, but still. Clemson hasn't shown me that they can compete with Alabama, but I would take right now, if you do like a, watch film on both teams, I'd take Notre Dame over Clemson. I would take Notre Dame over Clemson. It'd be a close game, Giovanni. I'd take Notre Dame by 1 if they played each other by 1. I feel like Notre Dame's defense is so good. Julian Love is one of the best corners in the game. You have Tavon Coney, who's really the field general for the defense. He's really controlled it. Drew Tranquil, the 5th-year senior, who's done good, has a couple injuries. But Ian Book changed this offense from nothing to something. And I'm telling you, man, no one talks about Ian Book. I mean, he is a great quarterback if you look at the stats. He has completely changed his team. And if Wimbush was the quarterback, Notre Dame would have 3 losses right now.
Fair enough.
Fair enough, yes. It is fair, Giovanni. So we'll go to college basketball, and it was the first week we got to experience the hyped Duke Blue Devils, and they kind of proven it. I mean, I don't want to say it's only been 2 games, Giovanni, but when you decimate John Calipari and the Kentucky Wildcats on a neutral site, and then you go home and play Army put a good game against them, but still, when your freshmen are kind of pretty much outscoring the other team, your 3 freshmen, how good is Duke?
I mean, right now they're the best team in the country. This is just such a fun team to watch. I mean, Duke is always good.
Oh, it's so fun to watch them. I mean, you got Zion just going coast to coast, dunking everyone, blocking everyone, murdering basketballs and stuff. I mean, it's so fun to watch Zion Williamson, Giovanni.
I mean, it's just absolutely ridiculous. The other day, I was just flipping through channels. I saw Duke on, and usually I don't watch much college basketball outside of the tournament.
I do.
But I really wanted to watch Duke, and I could not.
And the thing is, you cover Zion, then you got to cover R.J. Barrett, who's better than Zion. Then you got to cover Cam Reddish, who can hit threes. It's too hard to defend them, Giovanni. It's so hard. I don't see a team really going to beat them. I mean, their toughest game is probably IU in like a couple of weeks, but they're going to decimate them. IU only has really one good player, and that's Romeo Langford, and he's not even good, and he wouldn't even be a top 3 freshman on Duke. So IU is probably their closest game that they're going to play until conference time. But at Duke, IU is not going to survive. I'm telling you, Zion will get 30 points and 15 rebounds that game.
Someone in our studio is very, very angry at that.
And I'm telling you, R.J. Barrett will hit 8 of 10 from 3. I'm telling you, this Duke team's going to go off.
When is that game?
I don't really know. I think it's in like 2 weeks or something like that. But, Giovanni, we have not seen an explosive team like this in how long?
I mean, it's been a while since I've seen a team that like people are like watching this team.
Oh, I would love to. I would travel to Duke and watch this team. Are you kidding me? I mean, they just go dunks and threes and everything. I mean, it's so fun to watch this team. And Duke was named number 1 actually this past week, and a lot of fans had a little trouble with that because Kansas was number 1, and Kansas never lost yet. They beat Michigan State. Do you think Kansas should be number 1 even though they haven't lost yet?
No.
You think Duke should override that?
Duke is just incredible.
Yeah, you look at Duke's schedule, they play IU to 27th, and nothing until the 5th where they play Clemson. Clemson was actually the second school Zion was thinking about going to.
January 5th.
They play Indiana, 8:30, ESPN, prime time. You got Zion on prime time. Game over, Giovanni. Game over. Now, Giovanni, are there any other surprising college basketball news you've heard of maybe, or player that's surprising you this past first week of college basketball?
Bol.
I actually was thinking about that too. He had 2 double-doubles this past weekend. I think the last double-double was 23 points and 12 rebounds. I mean, Giovanni, we were watching his highlights the other day. It's a man. It's a bad man. I mean,
people keep talking about Zion Williamson.
Bol, man.
That's a bad dude.
He's carrying the Ducks. I'm telling you, man. That dude is 7'3" right now, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, 7'3".
Yep.
He's skinny, don't get me wrong, but he's not really doing it inside. I mean, he's doing a lot of it on the outside, fadeaway shots. He's hit some threes actually before. Bol is my guy. And Giovanni, from college basketball on tonight also, I mean, some big games. Tonight is the start of the Gavitt games in honor of David Gavitt. Big Ten and Big East teams play today. And a big game for me actually today, Giovanni, is Georgetown Hoyas play the Illini fighting. Yeah, what are they? Fighting Illini? Illinois something? I don't know what their name is. Illinois. They'll play Illinois. University at Illinois.
Somewhere in Illinois.
So that's a big game for me, Giovanni. I don't know what's going to happen. Tomorrow's a big game. It's Michigan and Villanova, a championship rematch. So that'll be interesting. But tonight, Giovanni, you know what I'm excited to see? I'm excited to see some Mac McClung. I am loving Mac McClung so far. 2 games, 2 highlight dunks. He's a little scrappy, but still, he's made his presence at Georgetown. I gotta tell you, Georgetown's got one of the best centers in college basketball right now in the name of Jesse Govan. If you don't know him, check out his stats. He is a monster. He's the only player in the Big East returning that averaged a double-double.
I will say this about Mac McClung. Just look up his highlights on YouTube.
Oh yeah, I mean, if you look up Georgetown basketball, he comes up. He comes up if you look up Georgetown basketball. But yeah, if you look him up, you're just gonna see all his dunks from high school. And he was a little frustrated in the game on Saturday against Central Connecticut. He wasn't really hitting his shots that much, and he was frustrated about it. But he's young. He's a freshman, and I was so shocked to see him start. Actually, I did not think he'd be a starter this year. I was actually shocked, Giovanni. But Patrick Ewing must love him.
Unbelievable.
So, Giovanni, Lake Central Sports really going on this week. That's our high school. This Thursday, there's a scrimmage for boys basketball. Next Monday, we'll actually have our first official boys game against the Andrean 59ers. Big game, always an annual first game of the year. Giovanni, we can actually give our thoughts about it on our podcast next Tuesday. It'll be the first time we can give our thoughts about a sport here in LC. So, interesting to see that.
Tune in for that.
Girls play on Thursday, I think, next week too. I'm pretty sure they are on a Thursday. Giovanni, anything any LC sports going on?
I would like to correct you. Apparently, it is on Saturday.
The girls?
Yes.
It's on Saturday? Okay. I thought it was on Thursday, actually. I thought the first home game was a Thursday for them. Boys do play on Saturday, too. So there must be 2 games on Saturday, boys and girls. I know the boys play early, at like 11:30-ish, I think. I'm pretty sure. Interesting to see how this boys team responds. Losing 4 starters. I mean, I know we keep mentioning that, but Giovanni, that's the big story. You lose 4 starters. How do you rebound from that? And you got Munster, who has all their pretty much starters returning. And they got a transfer. Some 6'10" transfer center that has about a 7'1" wingspan. Sectionals might be a little trouble for LC this year.
We'll see.
I mean, Crown Point.
That was a great sectional last year.
Yeah, Crown Point also has a lot of seniors coming back, too. So, I mean, DAC, Crown Point can make a run, but it's going to be Valpo with Brandon Newman, who's going to Purdue. I think that's going to be I think that's all going to end.
Valpo's going to be unbelievable this year. I mean, I saw the Times was covering their
they are
practice of the year.
I mean, that's what you do. You cover the practices of the teams that are going to go off. And when you got a guy like Brandon Newman, last time we had a guy like this was probably Sasha Stefanovic from Crown Point, who went to Purdue also. He actually probably going to get some playing time this year. Redshirted last year. But when the region has a guy who is going to be, going to college for some big moves, like we had Glenn Robinson, Grant Geelan that went to Crown Point, the media loves it. It's because it's not common, Giovanni. It's not common for a guy.
It isn't.
It's not really. I mean, Glenn is probably one of the best guys from the region to come out of here. He probably is. He went to Michigan, and he's on the Pistons right now, right? Slam dunk champion.
Yep, Detroit Pistons.
Yeah, we'll see how that. MLB, the MVP is awarded the 15th, and for the American League, I think it's J.D. Martinez probably. He's had the best season.
Most likely.
I know there's some Cub fans being a little, how do I say this?
Bias.
Yeah, I'd like to say Baez, I should say.
Didn't even think of that.
Javier Baez is all they think is going to win MVP. But, Giovanni, I hate to be Debbie Downer, but it's Christian Yelich. It's Christian Yelich.
You're going to win the MVP? No.
That is my lookalike, Giovanni. Christian Yelich is my lookalike. But
if you don't know who Christian Yelich is,
Giovanni,
just Google him and then look at
I'm telling
Jack.
you this right now. I'm telling everyone listening to this podcast. If Christian Yelich does not win the NL MVP, I will literally go nuts. He deserves it so much. And if you look at the stats comparing them, he is winning every stat besides RBIs. And that's by 1. He had 36 home runs with a 326 average. You cannot tell me he's not going to win MVP, Giovanni.
If he doesn't win MVP,
it's rigged. It's rigged.
I don't go that far.
Yes, I will go that far. And the Cubs didn't even win the division, too, if you go at that.
That is true.
Yes. And if Baez does win, I'm telling you, Giovanni, on next Tuesday's podcast, I will just be I don't even know. It'll be darkness for me. I just can't see Christian Yelich not winning MVP.
Is this going to turn into one of
my
your
Chris Yelich not winning MVP rant podcast? That's what it'll turn into if he doesn't win.
It's going to turn into your Notre Dame doesn't play anyone good schedule.
Oh man, Giovanni,
Rants.
I went off last week about that actually. I mean, I'm just saying, if Christian Yelich doesn't win MVP, we're gonna have some problems, Giovanni, and we're going to do a little something new. We're going to do some fantasy football advice for you guys listening. So fantasy football, it's kind of getting to the playoff time. Some teams know if they're going to make the playoffs. Some teams know that they're not going to make the playoffs. Giovanni, if you could add one player this week that realistically who would it be?
To me, it's the Arizona defense. They're available in a lot of leagues, and they're
they're on my waiver right now.
They're going up against the Oakland Raiders.
Oh man.
I mean,
gosh.
You probably can't ask for much of a better matchup.
Oh,
and the Arizona
my.
defense really has not played
Patrick Peterson.
that bad this year.
For me, I'm going to go with Duke Johnson. He's resurfaced after Hugh Jackson was fired in the Cleveland Browns. Put up 29.5 in PPR leagues his first week when Hugh Jackson was gone. Put about 15 this week. So I like to go with Duke Johnson. He's on my team right now, actually. I played him. He's on the bye, actually. Scratch that. I'm going to go with Anthony Miller, the ad. Anthony Miller, the young rookie receiver for the Chicago Bears, has done great for them so far. Had a huge game last week. And I really feel like not really defenses are covering him that much. So I got to go with Anthony Miller. Sorry about that Duke Johnson thing. I forgot he was on a bye. Who would one player you would drop?
Jordy Nelson. First of all, you can't trust the Raiders anymore.
No, you can't.
Maybe people thought when Amari Cooper was traded for a first-round pick that Jordy Nelson was going to step up and have a bigger role. I mean, sure, the volume might be there, but the Raiders are just awful.
I'm going with Jags defense. It's time to let go. It's time to let go of that team from last year because they are not even close to the same thing. Man, Andrew Luck just dismantled them last week, this past week.
They let Eric
and I played them. I played the Jacksonville defense because I thought they would do good, but it's time to let go of that Jacksonville defense. They're just not the same anymore. Giovanni, what is one player who you would start this week? Anyone. You could say anyone.
Dante Moncrief.
Oh.
He's been the most consistent wide receiver on the Jaguars. Listen, he has a tough matchup against the Steelers, but to me, Blake Bortles, I mean, he has to throw the ball to somebody. I think Dante Moncrief is.
He has the Steelers this week.
Yes.
Tough game. I think the Jaguars, if they can maybe finally win a game, maybe that could spurt a little run, but I don't think they're going to do anything, Giovanni. I mean, it's really bad. One guy I would start this week, and, I've kind of thought about this actually, Giovanni, because there's a lot of guys you could say for this. There are a lot of guys you could say who could start for who and what. I'm going to go with I don't want you to go off right now. I'm going to go Zach Ertz. I think Zach Ertz is
okay. Well, to me, if you have Zach Ertz, of course you're going to start Zach Ertz.
Okay, so you want to go maybe with someone people might not start?
So, okay, obviously, if you have someone like Todd Gurley, of course you're going to start Todd Gurley.
Okay, so if we're going to go with someone that you're not usually starting, I'll go Taylor Gabriel.
He didn't have a single point last week.
Okay, I understand that. But you got Xavier Rhodes close on Allen Robinson. Attention's going to be focused on Anthony Miller a little bit now after the big game he had. Gabriel might be that little slot guy that can miss some guys and get in the end zone. I'm just saying. Like you just said, he didn't have any catches. Maybe the Vikings value that and he's not going to get past or anything. Maybe the Vikings value that. I'm just saying. Who was one guy you'd sit?
Dalvin Cook. A lot of people probably draft. Maybe I heard some people are drafting him in the first round, which
people did.
People drafted him first, second round, maybe third round. It's time to give up on Dalvin Cook. The Bears run. He has.
It's the Bears have the best run defense in the
matchup.
NFL, and I will go to the moon and back to back that up. They have the best run defense in the NFL.
I mean, we've seen some good from him this year, but last year he was just incredible before he tore his ACL. But Dalvin Cook, it's time to give up on Dalvin Cook.
Well, Giovanni, I'm going to say.
But the problem is, a lot of fantasy owners who drafted him that high might not have another option besides Dalvin Cook.
Yeah, they might not.
He might have been their number one running back.
Well, I'm going to go with someone who I'm probably going to start this week, but because I have no one else to play. It's Jimmy Graham. Jimmy Graham is my tight end in my most, league I look at, but I have no one else to play him. I'll search someone else to play, so I'm playing Jimmy Graham. But if you're in a game where you really need to win, you sit Jimmy Graham. He's really been inconsistent. He had one catch last week, and that was in the fourth quarter. He's always on the injury report, but he's never injured. I don't understand that. But I am going to play Jimmy Graham. But for you guys that really need that win to get in those playoffs, you sit Jimmy Graham because the inconsistency has just been terrible. And Aaron Rodgers must hate tight ends. He must hate tight ends, Giovanni. He had never passed really good to a tight end. Have you ever heard of that? You know that?
I mean, we've seen the Packers sign tight ends. I mean, they signed Jared Cook a few years ago. He's in Oakland now.
Did they sign Martellus Bennett?
Martellus Bennett, yeah, he was on the Packers for
Did he do anything?
No.
Nope. Jimmy Graham? Nope.
No.
Well, I mean, he's done some. He's had some good. He actually won me a game when they played the 49ers on Monday Night Football. Well, everyone, we'd like to thank you all for listening to the Double J Podcast. Remember to follow us on social media. We are on Twitter, SoundCloud, Apple Music, and Spotify. Our Twitter is Double J Podcast. The D and double is capitalized, the J and J is capitalized, and the PM Podcast is capitalized. Our podcast will be every Tuesday around this time. If there is any date changes or anything, we'll tweet it out, let you guys know. If you have any questions, just let us know. We do some fan questions. We had none this week. We had 2 last week that were actually really good. If you got a question, just let us know. Giovanni, we're always open to answer. So thank you all for tuning in to the Double J Podcast. Have a good day, everyone.